Today's story. A lot of emotional trauma caused me to not be a good person, became addicted to porn, and started talking to an old fling. WW had EA for 7 months while pushing me away. Then went to PA. OBS does not know the full story yet. So I, 33M, guess I should write the entire story since I've deleted account after posting. My relationship with my WW, 31F, has not been the greatest. We got together at a young age and had our ups and downs. We've hurt each other multiple times throughout our 17-year relationship. In 2014, I opened up a little bit about the sexual abuse I encountered as a child. I wanted her to know why I found it so difficult to communicate appropriately, be emotionally available, etc. I suppressed those feelings for years after. We broke up and got back together in 2009, 2010 and had our typical ups and downs. We have a toddler son and a newborn daughter. In 2020, 2021 we started growing apart and I resorted to watching porn from the beginning of 2021 up until June 2021. WW caught wind of this and told me if it happened again, she was done. The following month, she began talking to a new co-worker, AP39M, and started developing feelings for him. I was unaware of this emotional affair up until last week. I went through her phone last year and found some pre-typed text messages pretty much with her expressing how she missed catching him stare, her being in his arms, and something knowing that she wanted this happy ending with him. I stupidly believed these messages. Maybe I was in a fog from working upwards to 19 days straight in the hospital during pandemic. Were about me at the time, so I tried to provide what was listed in those messages. My WW had grown further apart from me, only engaging in any intimate act with me and tracking it so she could use it as proof if I said I was not getting what I needed at home. This felt unnatural and kind of shed me off the want to be intimate. Like literally the second after we finished being intimate, she was on her phone to add it to her calendar. My WW became pregnant in October of last year with our daughter and still was becoming more distant. I asked her if she was talking to anyone else and she stated no. I began texting an old fling I had been with when my WW and I had broken up in 2009 and resorted to porn once again. My texting turned into an EA, no meetups but did exchange one face photo and I sent a picture of my son. My wife went through my phone again and saw everything. Was irate that I sent a picture of our son to her. I apologize. I gave her access to my phone, told her the truth regarding everything, and went NC with the girl. The day after Mother's Day, AP asked WW how her Mother's Day went and when she heard that, she opened up to AP about everything going on at home. Later that week my WW asked to separate. I am under the assumption that AP convinced her to do this. During our initial conversation, she said that I should not engage in anything and she probably should not. I honored her wishes, steered clear from coworkers' advances, and stayed off porn. I began IC to help me reprocess the traumas I had experienced as a kid and understand why I was doing the things I was doing. I began realizing being sexually abused by so many people between the age of 6-13 had really damaged me as a person. I really believed I was only there for someone's personal gain, nothing else. That I was not worth anyone, that I just needed to be used. I was still doing weekly meetings with my therapist, doing EMDR with her, helping me reprocess my cognitions of those experiences, and going porn addiction anonymous meetings twice daily. This began to help me be a better communicator, and just being a better version of myself. My daughter was born in early July, and I pulled my strings with the house supervisor of the hospital to allow us to remain in the labor suite, so my WW would be more comfortable. I left one night to use the restroom and visit co-workers upstairs. I did not know anything at this point and ran into AP. I opened up about the rough delivery and how a co-neonatal Code Blue for newborns was called for her, and how they had to work on her for 5 minutes until they brought her back to life. He was able to look me in the eyes and act like he was unaware of the situation. Sadly, my WW was already texting him, inviting him to the labor suite, but he never showed. I'm assuming him seeing me spooked him. We were discharged 2 days post-delivery. Our daughter's crib was set to be delivered, so my WW and her mom went outside with our son and daughter. WW accidentally left her phone inside and something told me to look through it. I found messages between the two that were as most recent as the night prior. I went into a state of rage. I pre-typed a message on their text thread. "This is her husband. Nice text messages," and handed the phone to my WW when she asked what was wrong. She was irate at me for sending a picture of my son, but she sent him a picture of my daughter 2 hours post-code neonatal. I called AP and he said he was sorry and he's not trying to lose what he has at home, wife and 4 kids. I hung up on him and stormed off. I was contemplating suicide, so I called a co-worker friend mentor. I told her I wanted to hurt myself and she'd want to hurt AP. She called the police, and the police contacted me while I was on the phone with the suicide hotline to evaluate my current emotional state of mind. I told the police officer I was on the phone with that I had no intentions of hurting anyone or myself, and I was already on the phone with the suicide hotline. The officer requested that I call back and check in multiple times throughout the night. I called AP back and apologized. "Yeah, I know, I'm a pussy." He apologized as well and reiterated that he did not want to lose what he had at home. Contact with the officer remained throughout the night and into the morning. The officer and I still talk, as he's given me his personal number to text if I am ever in a state of distress. He has gone through this and it's helped knowing I have an additional resource if needed. After going on a walk, I spoke to my WW about what had transpired throughout that time. She admitted that it was a PA, and that they had sex 3 times over 2-3 weeks. I again storm off and don't come back until late that night. WW and I have been having continuous conversations about everything, and she believes she only cheated when she was having the EA in 2021, and that the PA did not matter because we were separated, and her definition of it does not match mine. She said she was sorry that she hurt me and hated seeing me that depressed, in that much despair. I have asked her if she considers it cheating and she still says no. I have asked her to delete AP's number and she's not willing to because according to her this is a kind of my defense, whatever that means. I am now being investigated by HR for what I said to my friend coworker and may lose my job. I am losing everything in this situation. I want to tell OBS of the situation because she only knows part of it. I have spoken to her twice, one of the times telling her that there was something more and that she needs to talk to AP. I need AP to play nice until after the investigation is over, just for any possibility of me keeping my job. WW says she still has thoughts of AP and wanting to be in his arms, etc. I want to reconcile with her, but I am not sure if that is possible with her having feelings for him still. I've fully opened up to her about every childhood experience of sexual abuse by family members, teachers, and students. She says she wishes she could have ended their affair on her terms and not by me calling him and him, which essentially caused him to delete everything about her from his life. AP is going around telling other employees at our hospital that he is being blamed for something that allegedly had happened, even though all of them know there's only one thing that can make a spouse go that crazy. Is there a road to reconciling here? Everything in me tells me she is pushing against it. She's not willing to do any of the liftings in terms of finding an IC or MC. It has been left up to me. Update. A lot of repressed memories coming back. Trigger warning. Been going to therapy since my wife asked to separate. I knew I had some CSA in my early years, but a lot of repressed memories are starting to come back. Part of me thinks the EMDR therapy I've been doing is opening up those memories. My abuse started with my sister. I was 6 and she was 10. I was asked if I wanted to play a game, as she pulled my pants down to do what she wanted. Sadly, the one place I thought I would be able to escape was school. My first grade teacher ruined that for me. Every morning she would shove her hands down both the front and back of my shirt. One day she took me to the supply room and began touching me inappropriately. This happened for all of first and second grade since my teachers shared the same room. It was split in half. First grade on one side, a dividing door with supply room, the second grade class. Once I left second grade, I thought things would go back to normal, but I was wrong. I decided to learn how to play an instrument in the third grade and chose flute since my sister and brother already chose clarinet and sax. The band teacher would take photos of us in our underwear or nude. I began carrying a knife with me to school because I didn't want to be hurt anymore. I became hypersexual following these experiences and engaged in stuff at a young age. My brothers were not innocent either. One would always jump in the shower with me, and when I would tell him to leave he would not. While the other brother would come into bathroom while I was showering and start masturbating to me showering. I grew up in a household where we weren't supposed to show emotion, so I held everything in. At 13, I was raped after going to the beach. This caused me to become suicidal and attempted multiple times to end my life. Has anyone gone through a lot of trauma in their past and have developed maladaptive behaviors such as porn or sex addiction? Sorry for this post being very triggering. I have suppressed everything for 27 years of my life, and venting makes me feel just slightly better. Update. Just wanted to post a new update. OBS called me due to some Instagram account contacting her. Person stating that my daughter is AP's. Stories didn't match up from reality and what was stated in the messages. OBS requested paternity tests and I gladly agreed and said they were already ordered. AP contacted and we have a lengthy conversation about everything that transpired, and I told him he needs to honest with OBS before WW calls her tomorrow. He was reluctant and tried to connect with me on my suicidal moments from when I found out and the week that followed. He gave me specifics, timelines, and let me know he did not have feelings about my WW. He cared to an extent, but made it clear that he didn't want it to progress any further than the hookups. Just finished a 4-hour conversation with my WW about how AP is placing all the blame on her and how she was chasing him the entire time. She's now out of her affair dog and pleading with me not to leave, as I'm the only person she believes give one fuck about her. On a positive note, AP did tell HR he did not feel threatened by my comments and that he would be okay with me still working there, just that it'd be a little weird. He also verified that I called and apologized to him. WW seems more open to MC as she now realizes she was only used for sex in this scenario. We planned to call OBS in the morning regarding the full story, which gives AP enough time to come clean prior. Update. WW called OBS and they talked. Well, OBS mainly cussed and yelled at my WW. Conversation went as expected minus OBS threatening to get WW and AP's jobs taken away. WW apologized and confirmed she not only fucked up that family but also ours. Went to therapy afterwards and did EMDR therapy on my past traumas. Spoke to my therapist about what I should do and she said it was up to me. I called OBS and offered support. In a time like this, no one needs to go through it alone. I gave her the resources I had and told AP I considered him a friend at one point in time, so I'm going to try and help him. He is going to attend a SPAA, Sex and Porn Addicts Anonymous, meeting with me tonight. He's thanked me and said I'm not the person my WW portrayed me to be. I had to let him know that the person my WW described was indeed who I was before starting therapy. I had a lot of hurt and pain that I've held on for 27 years, and it damaged me as a person. He thanked for me potentially helping him save his marriage and for being the bigger and better person. WW asked if my therapist was open to doing MC with us. I told her yes, but I was under the assumption that she wanted someone neutral, not a therapist that already knows one side of the story. She said that she was okay with going with mine as there is a rapport already built and she doesn't want me having to open up again to someone else. I have some small sense of peace within me right now. Don't know if it's just because I am helping all the broken parties in this heal, or if it's some weird spiritual thing. I don't know, but it seems like there's a small bit of light at the end of this tunnel. Update. Things have been labile in the house, which was to be expected. WW is coming to terms that the guy preyed on her for months before working his way into her life. I should have picked up on the red flags from the AP when he was asking me about the ways I comfort my wife at home, things she is into, etc. My mind went to him trying to apply these things to strengthen his marriage, not to apply them to my WW. She's currently a wreck and saying she can't believe she was that weak and pathetic. AP has said multiple times that he only told her what she needed to hear, and gave her what she needed to get into her pants. She has started IC, and we will be starting MC next week. WW has become more remorseful over the last week or so and has been willing to answer any question I have, even with details she knows will hurt me. This has been the eye-opener for me into believing she really wants to. Our conversations have been up and down, but beneficial overall. WW has gone NC with AP after the full disclosure with OBS. My HR meeting went well. I wasn't fired for making the threats, but I did get a written warning for unprofessionalism and violation of the workplace violence policy. I have to undergo a psych eval to determine whether I'm fit for duty, which I believe I will pass. I can't thank everyone enough who has provided support for me during these dark times. I know this road to R will be long and strenuous, but I believe it will be worth it in the end. If any other updates happen or any new days, I'll be sure to come straight back to let you guys know. Thanks again. Update. Haven't posted an update in a while, so I thought it was time. WW is making progress in IC and RMC is going well so far. WW has started calling the situation an affair and says she's sick knowing she has done this to me and our family. AP has contacted me via support group I'm in and I entertained the conversation. All that was really said was that he manipulated my WW in her emotional and hormonal state to get into her pants. I screenshot the conversation and showed WW. After the conversation, I remembered brief conversations shared with AP at the beginning of this year. He was asking me about the ways I comfort my WW. Huge red flag, which I thought was him asking for advice to apply to his marriage. WW told me he applied these methods to her. AP is seen as a sexual predator in the hospital now. My IC has been going well, and I've started reprocessing my traumas and have began healing from them. The PTSD associated with those events are slowly dissipating, and I'm realizing I'm not in as much danger as I was when I was a kid. AP is also being investigated for accessing the Labor and Deliveries Unit Manager to see if my WW was still admitted in the hospital. A violation of access to data due to the fact he had no patients in that unit. He will most likely lose his job and license as an RT for this if HR believes it to be consistent with a violation of HIPAA. AP still lies about everything in the hospital and in the support group. This has revealed his true character to not only myself but my WW, OBS, and other employees in the hospital. Not sure if I previously posted about the DNA results, but both kids are mine. Just wanted to share what little updates I had. Update. AP contacted WW after months of NC. I need advice here. AP contacted my wife through a hospital phone and left a butt dial voicemail. We've been NC with AP and OBS for months now, and it really threw a wrench in our healing. WW was upfront with me and showed me the voicemail a minute or so after it came in. Should I tell OBS that AP is still trying to contact WW? Update. Guess it's time to quit. Haven't posted in a while, but I'm here to say farewell and give a final update. WS had a bonfire with coworkers last week. Was supposed to end at 10 but ended up getting home at 0234 after the bars closed. And going to a night market with a female coworker. Ended up at another bar but this time to meet up with new guy. The first night I was at work and checked the security cameras and didn't see her car. Texted her and the reply was Omi and a few of the crew went to the bar. 2 days pass and I think nothing of it and she asks if she can go to a night market with one of her female co-workers. I agree due to the fact that I think she would be back within a reasonable hour. 2200 rolls around and she says she's going to a bar. I'm upset because I've been watching the kids the entire day. This trip ends up to her spending the night and staying for the majority of the day. I was feeling insecure so I asked to go through her phone and she said, I don't want you to go through the messages with AP. WS entered another yay with a coworker that she was at the bonfire bars with and admitted she has developed feelings for him. Thought we were in a good place and recovering our damaged relationship, but I guess I was the only one who saw that. Good luck to everyone and I hope your story doesn't end like mine. Sorry for the poorly written update, very emotional and driving.